If you're building websites using WordPress and the Divi theme, then I have something fun for you. In this tutorial, I will show you how to create animated wavy section dividers step by step. Hi, my name is Anya and my goal here is to help you build beautiful websites. So this video is going to be a replay of a live walkthrough which took place in my Divi Stylist Academy community. We are going to create a custom SVG shape, then add it to Divi and then use custom CSS to animate it. And if you'd rather get a ready-made solution, check out my next video where I show how to use and customize free hero section layout with this animated effect which I share on our Divi Lover website. Okay guys, so let me first show you our final result, like what I'm after. So this is the effect we are going to try to recreate today. And keep in mind that the speed of the animation, the shape of the lines and everything about it, you will be able to customize and kind of make it your own. So this is just an example and an explanation to show you how to do it rather than, you know, the exact code that you'll be copying. You'll be able to just follow my steps and recreate something similar yourself, something that matches what you need. So it may be quicker or slower, like more subtle. You could have multiple layers of these wavy shapes. So there is a lot to play with here. But let's start from the beginning. So let me show you, like that starting point should be pretty self-explanatory. We have a simple hero section with a text module, an image, and then another section below with a different color so that we can, you know, add that element in between. It's not going to be a default divider that you can choose in the Divi settings, in the Divi section settings, but we are going to add a separate row here in that first section, a row with that darker color shape, the SVG shape, and then we'll use CSS to animate it. Now I was thinking of what would be the simplest way to create that SVG code, and from your perspective, to make it easier for you. We aren't going to use Figma. I know that not everyone uses a graphic software, so I did some Googling and I found a very nice SVG waves generator made by Hero Soler, a Spanish developer. So if you navigate to that link, I will share that below the video, you would see that option to create and customize your wavy shape. So let's start with that. I want first you can like change the width, the height of that container. So if you're just looking for a smaller waves, then you don't have to create SVG that's going to be like 500 pixels tall, but let's do something in the middle like this. And then here with that, one second, let me just always forget to do that. One second. See, this is, oh, that's better. So here in the corner we have that plus icon that adds additional points here, and then we can edit these points as we like. So this is going to generate that SVG for us. But two things that are required here, because here on the sides you have this little what's the name of that, little handles that you can choose the ending point, like what would be the point from on each side, how where that shape starts, and it's important to keep them at the same level. We want to make that shape seamless so that it connects with one side, and then the other side would smoothly go back to the beginning, because we are going to duplicate that shape and then animate it infinitely. So it's important that it creates, like, you don't want to start at the low point and then end on a different one. We want them to be at the same level on both sides, and also even once they are at the same level, so let's say 0, that's the default. Well, 0 is safe, but you also don't want the wave to go in a wrong direction, if you know what I mean. But basically you can like play with it. You can choose the waviness, if it's thicker, or just changes from point 1 to the second in a smoother way. But I think something like that is a good starting point. You can add more, like basically play with it and make it your own. Changing colors, only the first color is the important one, like that top shape is what you see inside that SVG. The second color is basically just for us for a preview. And now that I look at it, I think I could, because going back here, like my brain works in a way that I see it as the bottom row, bottom divider to that top section, so the shape would need to be dark, but you could also look at it as the top divider to that lower section, and then your shape would be white, right? So either way, you can like choose your color, and then we can transform the row, like flip it horizontally or vertically to be in the correct place. But this is the color of the wave. You can choose here. So I will use the same that I'm using on the page. And now if I click export, it gives me that SVG code which I can copy. Okay, so that's the first step. You want to play with that tool and generate an SVG code for you. And now here in my untouched version where nothing is happening yet, I will enable the builder. And if we go to wireframe view, you see I have a first section with a text, a button, and an image, and all that is placed in a single row. So below that first row with my content, I want to add another row with a code module. And here I'm pasting that SVG code I just copied from that generator. Now, if we preview that, you will see this is what it creates. So since my brain kind of works other way around, I do have to transform that shape, so it's, other way around. But first, in the design sizing tab, let's make sure that that row, sorry, not code module settings, but row settings. I want to make sure that this row is 100% white, and that goes to tablet and phone as well. And also max width is not a fixed pixel value, but also 100% white. And I'm changing that for all screen sizes, because for some reason the width is not a setting that transfers to smaller screen sizes by default. Here you would see auto instead of your value, so you want to make sure that it's 100% everywhere. And now, as I said, I also want to transform that, so rotate, and I think this one would, if we use, yes, 180, that transform it other way. Now, I also want to lose any spacing. So sizing, no, not sizing, spacing and padding, top and bottom, 0. And I will position the row absolutely at the bottom of my section. So in the advanced, position absolute, and here I'm placing it at the bottom. You see that 1 pixel line, it's sometimes happening when working with SVG shapes. So to kind of remove it, I will also add a vertical offset of -1 pixel to hide that unwanted 1 pixel. Okay, so this is a starting point. Now, in order to make this animation smooth, we have to make sure that our shape is actually wider than the viewport, because if I animate it away from my row, then I would, you know, see empty space. So I want to make sure that I have enough of wave to then move it, you know, infinitely. And we could do it in 2 ways: either make the code module 200 pixels wide, so twice as big as the row, or duplicate it and then add the same code module second time next to it with position absolute. And that second approach is what I will do. So going back here, I'm duplicating the code module and then changing the position to absolute. And also changing the vertical offset by 100%. Now we are not going to, no, not vertical, sorry, position absolute. I want the horizontal offset, so we don't see it, it's kind of right there on the side of my viewport. Okay, so now I have this row with the wavy line that is twice as big as the width of my row, and I can go ahead and add a CSS animation. So instead of animating the row, which is already like transformed and has the negative pixel, I will be targeting the column that holds these 2 code modules. So in the column settings, and usually what I would do is I would add a CSS class and then target that CSS class with CSS, you know, separately from my style sheet. But we could do it directly here in the column settings, and that's just for the preview. You may want to have that CSS someplace else, but it is going to work this way as well. So that main element will use animation, and we call it DL wave. Right now it's not going to do anything because there's no such animation defined anywhere. We will have to define the keyframes for it, but first for the animation shorthand we have animation name, then animation duration, so let's say 10 seconds. We'll see, we can adjust that later, and also infinite. You could play with delays or different timing functions, but that should be good for the start. So this is the animation for that column, but like I said, it's not defined anywhere, so it's not doing anything yet. So in the page settings, advanced custom CSS, we are going to define keyframes for the DL wave. So at 0%, we want to use transformation and translate that column by, well, 100%, but the initial transformation is 0. So translate x0 like this, and then closing the bracket, and the same for 100, end of the animation, but then translate x -100%. No, wrong bracket. We want the normal brackets for the values. Okay, let's see, transform, translate, negative 100%. Oh, there we go. So now it kind of floats from, well, like I said, it's twice as wide, and we move it by half of its, like negative 100%, and then starting at the beginning, and beginning is seamless because we have that shape starts at in the same place. That's how it moves. Now the moving it just, you know, in one direction is kind of not enough to have that wavy feel. Also 10 seconds it's much too quick, so we can adjust that, but we may want to add also like make it smaller a little bit. So to do that we would need to use scale Y, so scale it but not from the sides, but scale it this way. And if we have to make sure that the first and the when it's in the the first and the beginning and the end of the animation is the same, so that transformation, that scale could happen in between, or even we could scale it a little, like at the 25% mark of the animation, then scale it back, and then scale it again and back. So in addition to just having two keyframes, we could do 25% and then define different. At 50% it would do this, and then at 75 it can do a different thing. Okay, that's, and then on 50 we have to make sure that that translate property is working the same way. So at 50, transform translate X would be at negative 50%, but we can add another property, this scale. So it would transform translate X and also scale Y, and let's say 10%. Let's see how that looks. Okay, I should have done it in my CSS. Oh, there's no comma here. So it is scaling a bit too much. So scale 1, let's make it back to full scale. And then if I repeat that here, sorry, you will see that in a moment clearer. Okay. I think that's correct syntax. Scale. Let me just save the scale 1. Oh yes, so the translate X has to go, you know, the same as, so it goes to 100 smoothly, so like this, and then scale. Okay, now this is better. I'm not sure why it's 75%. This is my error here. Okay, now it stopped yelling at me. Okay, so this is my animation. We start at no transformation. Why it does this weird thing, but it's because of the transform origin property. You know how it can the transformation can take effect from different part of your element. So this is the animation that happens, but back in the column settings where I added that CSS, advanced custom CSS, this is the animation. So here that main element, if it also has transform origin set to, I think, bottom, no, top, sorry, top. Okay, now it does that, but there's still like something wrong. Let's make it a bit slower. So if I add more seconds to it, it would move slow, more, you know, slower. Let's also add linear as a timing function. Okay, yes, so that was the default is transition, and that's it basically. So you see, changing the information about our animation, you could play with how big it gets, so changing the different keyframes of how much we scale it at 25% or and 75. So let's say we only want to, or we can go like full scale it to 10%. So it really like makes it bigger and smaller as it also moves to the side. So playing with that along with the timing function, so how quick the animation is, and along with that generator, you have like unlimited options here. Okay, so that's it. As I mentioned at the beginning, in my next video, I'll be sharing a free ready-made layout which you can download from the Divi Lover website. Do let me know in the comments if that was helpful, and feel free to get in touch if you have any questions. And make sure to check out Divi Stylist Academy if you're looking for more than just random tutorials. DSA is a comprehensive web design course focused around the Divi theme and custom code. It is where I share everything I know about building beautiful websites with Divi, and also offer ongoing live support to all students inside our community. So that's it from me today. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.